Greetings, Local 163 family. My name is John Carter. I am from the Education Committee. I'm the Education Committee co-chair, and I'm also part of the award-winning newsletter committee. I'm from the GM side of the family. I want to welcome everyone to our broadcast. And when I say ours, I mean the memberships. Antolin, Continental, Detroit Axle, Detroit Diesel, Romulus Propulsion System, JLL, Oakwood, Purim, and our retirees. Before I get started, I'd like to remind everyone about our annual Family Day, which will be August 9th. Please come out and have some fun with your union brothers and sisters and bring your family. Also, I want to remind the membership that we have our Labor Day parade coming up. There will be a bus this year, and let your membership know if you would like to attend because seats fill up quick. And with that being said, I'd like to welcome our first guest to the broadcast, Mr. Cleo Long from the Romulus Powertrain, Chairman.
Well, I appreciate it, John. It's good to get an invite from you and being the first one to do the podcast, although you know I'm not a social media person, but you told me this is what the membership is calling for, so I'm all in.
All right, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. So let's dive right in. First thing, let's talk about local negotiations.
Okay.
Local demands. Where are we at as far as the timeline is concerned and actually obtaining and getting some of these things?
So in local negotiations, we changed some language around and we won some items, creature comforts for the plant. The language that we changed and won during negotiations has already been implemented. That started April 24th once the contract was ratified. Some of the items that we won, like skill trade bikes, got 7 bikes, they are on order. Skill trade hand carts for their tools, they are ordered. We got quite a few things in play already, like toaster oven.
Okay. What about the shoe voucher? How's that looking? I've seen that on the highlight package.
Shoe voucher will be in effect September 1st. We tried to push it forward. Management pushed back. We came up with a date of September 1st, so we're going to hold them to that date.
All right. So with the shoe voucher, is that one pair of shoes? Is that for the life of the contract? Because that's kind of, a lot of people's opinion is that one pair of shoes is enough.
Okay. One of the big concerns about the shoe voucher and how did we negotiate the shoe voucher? So we got one pair of shoes, and it is a voucher. So you are able to use $150. The shoe voucher is for year 2025 and year 2027. Now with this voucher, if you go into the store, the brick and mortar store, and you have $150 in your hand basically, so you can use $150 on a pair of socks. Shoes and socks, 2 pair of shoes, use the $150.
And I'm sure the shop committee is going to do a good job of communicating to everybody when this expires. So we talked about shoes. You mentioned toaster ovens. How many toaster ovens?
So during local negotiations, we had a demand submitted for toaster ovens. We were able to get the company to award the membership with 4 toaster ovens. Now 2 of those are already in the plant. So management put 1 in the main cafeteria, 1 in the GRX assembly area, which is more heavy populated areas. The 2 other ones, maybe we'll put them in 1 in GESC area and 1 on the East Satellite area.
Okay. And is that like a locked in number? Like if we see that we need more than 1 toaster oven in the area, is it possibly open to say, hey, well, let's get 2 more?
And that's a really good question. So most of the things are won in negotiations, but if we see a need in the plant, always reach out to the committee. It could be myself, it could be your committee person. We have meetings throughout the week where we request things, demand things that's needed in the plants.
All right. Okay, so we kind of touched on some of the local demands. I definitely have to ask about this local demand, the cornhole.
I knew it was coming.
Are we really getting cornhole boards in the plant?
Absolutely, we are. So the membership demanded cornhole boards. Your committee got you cornhole boards by your demand. So those were ordered actually Friday. 25th of July, those cornhole boards were ordered. We ordered 4. Where they will be placed at on the outside of the plant, I'm not sure yet. We got to find the location and proceed from there.
Okay, okay.
Why are you smiling?
Well, that's been kind of the the joke of the negotiation, so I had to ask. So let's get back on the series.
Okay.
High feature V6 production numbers. We had a meeting at the plant. They said a number like 70 some people's getting laid off. High feature side. What's gonna happen over there? Are they cutting the numbers? They cutting the people? Kind of get into that a little bit.
Okay, so about a week and a half ago, as you all know, we had an all-people meeting, and our plant manager stated 70 people. That 70 that number that he gave, the 70, was factory zero people. That was on top of our people that could potentially get indefinitely laid off. So the 70 number was because factory zero people are seniority, even though they are at our plant temporary. Now we do have roughly 30, I would say, temporary employees that's not seniority, and they will be let go due to the fact of indefinite layoff. You cannot have temporaries in the building. So I will state this as well. That number he said from seniority from our plant was roughly 35. Now that number can change, and more than likely it will change. So I would suggest do not make any drastic decisions, especially to the temporary employees. Don't get upset and get fired. Let this thing play out. We are still behind the scenes working the numbers, trying to make adjustments to keep people in the building.
Okay, so with the layoff, how we said 35 seniority employees, the Hamtramck, our Poletown people, are not included in that 35 seniority employees, right? Because they're categorized as temps.
So that's a great question, because I had that question on the floor. Let me be clear. 35, and again, roughly 35 seniority people from Romulus. We had a few conversions this year, and we had some last year as well.
Okay, so the high feature side, let's say I'm a team leader over there. What's gonna happen? My team, everybody's getting cut. It might have been 3 people in the team, that was just gonna be 1. What's gonna happen to the team leaders though?
So they are going through workshops roughly every day. I know committee man Eric, he's been out there, he's been running crazy trying to, get everything organized, working with management to make sure our people is took care of. I would say attend those workshops. Use your input. We are the experts on the floor. The membership is the ones that know how jobs operate. If you sit back and don't say nothing, they'll do what they want to do, and we'll have to come back and clean it up later. Let's get this thing right now. We all kind of knew that the high feature production was going to get cut. The engine is 10 years old. So I would say participate with workshops. It's not you reducing manpower. Management made a business decision to reduce the manpower. So when you're in one of those teams and you know there's a cut coming, use your voice and help control that narrative.
And we gotta remember that this high feature cut is something that's been coming. It's like you said, it's the lifetime of the product. So it's not like a spiteful job cut to try to, mess over our members. It's actually just a timing thing. So the team leaders, how's it gonna be structured?
So the last meeting that I was informed about, they came up with two team leaders on each side of loop 1 team leader for loop 2, 1 team leader for heads up. We got 2 unique situations. So heads up, you currently have 2 team leaders. Their jobs is going to get cut in heads up, so you'll have 1 team leader. How is that decided? By the membership vote. So you cross the line and go over to loop 1 north and south. You have 2 on the south side currently because 1 is getting reduced out. When you go to the north side, you have 3 team leaders. You have 1 on the end, 1 in the beginning, and 1 in the middle. So they took those middle jobs and kind of evened them out and pushed them to those 2 team leaders. So after talking with the team concept person, Marilyn Turner, came up with the best plan for the membership, and that was you can't take these 2 team leaders out of their job because theirs did not get affected, other than added work. But this middle team leader,
They got affected.
yeah, because they moved his work out.
Makes sense. So if I'm in machining on the engine side on second shift and there's a cut, do I get to stay in machining?
Good question. And just know that I'm only going to give so much because we're getting ready to have a union meeting, and that's where most of this information should flow, where people can openly ask questions. But I will say this, if you are currently on second shift machining, high feature side, and your job is reduced and you don't have seniority to hold first shift in that department, you will flow to the transmission side and assembly, not machining.
Like you said, you know, you can get into way more detailed scenarios at the meetings. So let's move over to the GRX production. How's that looking? Is it going up, and what's going on to the engine side? Because sometimes we confuse things and we put things together when there are two separate sides.
So we talk transmission now. We are talking overtime. We are talking, we cannot build enough of that transmission. So if the company could run 7 days, 24 hours a day to get more transmissions, they would. That's how healthy our transmission is right now.
Okay, so 3 shifts, nothing changed.
There's no changes.
2 on, 2 off.
2 on, 2 off, volunteer Sundays.
So we talked about cuts on the high feature side. What does that mean for the shop committee?
And this is one that's a touchy one for me. I won't go into details, but I will say July 28th, tomorrow on Monday, I will personally walk the floor with my chairman's report and have conversations with anybody to let them know this is a decision that I had to make. I had to make it what's best for the membership and what's fair. But first, what's best for the membership? So I had to make a cut, and I'll talk about it more in person.
And again, you know, certain conversations have to be left in union meetings. Can't get into everything in detail on a podcast. So of course, you know, we talked about GRX, local demands, high feature. Let's get into what we have. So what we have in the plant, we have summer help, which is from Hamtramck. We have temps, part-time temps, and we have some in progression temps. So pretty much they're all going to get laid off.
If you have temporary attached to your name, you will get laid off. So and that date is, and we are talking currently, but like I said, we are working behind the scenes to try to get some of those numbers adjustment. We always make a business case to keep our people working, and so those numbers can change. But as of right now, July 27th, 2025, with the current message that was brought to the membership, we proceed how we are. It will be August 11th. We will have a totally different outlook on Romulus. And there will be no temporary to change.
So let's just remember that when we hear things on this broadcast, that they are all subject to change based on production, you know, and all the other stuff going on in the world. So the last thing I want to get into, what is the future for the high feature side?
So if you think about it, who would be the first person to announce new product, new work for Romulus? It wouldn't be Clio. It would be General Motors. It's their company. They will announce new product from Romulus when that time comes. But we did have a visitor from the vice president of General Motors last Thursday. I think it was the 24th. He came into the plant and he toured the GRX side, talked to some of the members. That was cool. And I brought that same question to him as always. What is the life on this engine? Well, the products that engine go in is still running off of those lines. So we have to keep building those engines. One of the key things to Romulus is there is no chatter in a negative way when you go up top to international and corporate. There's no negative chatter. It's all about they make their numbers, they meet all the metrics. We are in a great position. And even the vice president, he told the people on the floor, we are in good position. And that's the vice president of General Motors, not our vice president on the UAW, which one thing I want to touch on. I trust our international staff. They are doing what they are supposed to do. They keep in contact with me and let me know everything that's going on. We have nothing to worry.
It's good to hear. You dispelled a lot of rumors. I think we covered quite a bit. We mainly wanted to touch on the layoffs and the number of changes in the plant. Appreciate you taking your time out to join this broadcast. And this is the first of many. Thanks for watching. Peace.